Pastor Goudeaux, God knew he could trust you and mom not to give up when the gates of hell came against you and your family. He knew he could trust you not to give up or compromise when no one was looking. He knew he could trust you both not to search for substitutes in his relationship with him. He knew he could trust you both not to leave Sacramento and forsake the original vision he gave you for money, popularity, or numbers. He knew he could trust both of you to be a man and woman of faith who depends, trusts, and relies upon him rather than relying on people who have let you down again and again. He knew he could trust you, Dad, to oversee all this and still be a worshiper and still be a good shepherd and not let all this go to your head. So may I try my best to convince you, we have two champions here. Not just champions, but trainers of champions. Ones that God knew he could trust them with all these things that we may come into this kingdom place right now that we walk in. This morning, I just want to briefly talk about authentic recognition. Or if we could use community terms, recognizing the real deal. Look at your neighbor, hit him and say, you better recognize. Now, Webster spells it R-E-C-O-G-N-I-Z-E, but for this morning, we're going to spell it R-E-K-N-I-Z-E. You better recognize. Now, in my taking of my notes, and normally I stay up here because I'm passionate about the gospel. And passion is defined as being excited, sincere, and emotional. And in my sincerity and excitement and emotionality, sometimes the holy comes out. But I'm coming down here because I don't want to preach as much as I just want to talk about something that's near and dear to me. What I've noticed in my notes, Mom and Dad, and this is interchangeable for both of you, is we have a man and woman of God of real faith. They are real worshipers, and they are real shepherds. Somebody say, recognize the real deal. One thing about the community, nothing can last that long and not be exposed if it's not the real deal. That's why this man and woman of God has done it in their community, and if even they tried to expose him, tried to put their mouth on him, but let the redeemed of the Lord say so. So let me quickly talk about faith. Now, I know you got a whole lot of faith scriptures you like, and if we think about faith as a giant apartment complex with maybe 3,000 units in it, the major tenets of this apartment complex that take up the most space would be dependence, trust, and reliance. So when the disciples said, Jesus, increase our faith, I used to think, Dad, that he sprinkled more faith on them. No, he increased their dependence, trust, and reliance by showing them miracle after miracle, teaching them precept after precept. So they depended on him, and they trusted in him, and they relied upon him. So we have a man and woman of God that are full of real faith. Now, over the years, Damien, I've noticed several types of faith. God's given me, the Spirit of the Lord has given me revelation on different types of faith. Just my opinion. But I've noticed empty faith. That's claims without conduct. In other words, if you claim to have dependence, trust, and reliance, you better conduct yourself like you have dependence, trust, and reliance. Our man and woman of God do not have empty faith. I've noticed plastic faith. Remember Mama and them or Grandmama and them's couch? And it had the slip covers on it? You could see it, but you couldn't touch it or feel it. We can feel and operate under our man and woman of God's faith because they depend, trust, and rely upon God. So they don't have plastic faith. I don't want a freshly manicured hand, fresh out of seminary, Clarence, laying hands on me. That doesn't matter to me. I want a hand laid upon me that healed the sick. I want a hand laid upon me that cast out demons. I want a hand laid upon me that knocked out lumberjack woods in the third round. I want a hand that's been there. I want a hand that's able to move and lead me to somewhere. So when God joined me with this man of God, it was so powerful, so powerful, so powerful. John 10:10, for the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But I have come, Jesus said, that they may have and enjoy life and have it in the abundance to the full till it overflows. Please put up John 10 and 12. 10 and 12. Watch the shepherd come forward here. 10 and 12. But the hired servant, not our man and woman of God, because if it was about money, they would have left a long time ago. He who merely serves for wages, who is neither shepherd nor the owner of the sheep, when he sees the wolf coming, deserts the flock and runs away. And the wolf chases and snatches and scatters the flock. Studied New Testament shepherds a long time ago. And what they did is as they opened the gate, read all of John 10. As they opened the gate, counted every sheep that came in. And they anointed them with healing oil and anointed their wounds. This sounds like the line after service. You've been out cutting up, getting beat up from the world. And our man of God anoints you, not with his anointing, but with the stuff that heals your wounds. He made sure, the shepherd made sure every sheep got in. And then when he was done, he closed the gate and laid there and protected all the sheep. Give me John 10:13, please. One verse after that. The hireling versus the real deal. 10:13. Now the hireling flees because he merely serves for wages and is not himself concerned about the sheep, cares nothing for them. No, we have a man and woman of God that cares deeply for us, sacrificially for us. So many stories I could tell you over and over and over and over again. I was with a certain family member and we were leaving the service. And as mom and dad pulled away, this person just was having a hard time with church, period. And mom, you rolled the window down. You just didn't do the ministry wave. You know that? Rolled the window down and said, I love you, Parks family. That ministered to this stubborn individual in my family's life. I looked at her, what you got to say now? They've been here all day. They could have pulled away. Yes, it's a nice car, but they rolled the window down and mom said, I love you, Parks family. Parks family. I want to talk quickly about commitment, but then mostly, let me say it like this, because there's commitment before provision, that's something else. But I want to talk about provision and covering very briefly in these last few minutes. Provision and covering. Now, when we minister down on Folsom Boulevard, every year we would go to Cal Expo and provide blankets for those that were homeless and needed warmth. But it was up to them to take the provision that we gave them, take the time to unwrap it, and operate under its covering. Now, many of them may have traded it for drugs. Many of them may have sold it. They took the provision, but they didn't receive the covering. May I suggest to you, Calvary Christian Center is the provision. So you know some of you come to church once a year, but as soon as somebody asks you what church you go to, I go to Calvary. When's the last time you went? Oh, it's been a long time. But they'll always claim where they've been, and that's okay. They like the provision, but they don't want the covering. Calvary Christian Center is the provision. Dr. Phillip and Brenda Goudeaux are the covering. Many people love the provision, knowing it's going to be here, knowing it's already going to be provided for them, and the doors are going to be open, and you'll get blessings called over upon your life. But the covering is where the depth of the ministry comes in as our shepherd anoints us and covers us and takes hold. Too many people want the provision, but they don't want to take the time to uncover it and receive the covering. I command you today, receive the covering. I didn't encourage you. I commanded you to receive the covering. So while we're trying to play church, some of us, it's just some of us, and we're trying to lay the blankets on people that fall out, that's a good thing. But see, the anointing that comes down from the man and woman of God, like the garments of Aaron, because they told them to prepare the garments, skilled artisans, that they may minister. So whatever comes off of them, and I'm not talking about things that you think that you can drive and look at and wear, the covering, the anointing, you should be getting somebody saved Monday morning at the water cooler. Forget this. You should be getting somebody saved Monday morning because you've been covered with hard work, with faith, with a worshiper, and with one that is a true servant.